2016 was a strange year. I was 10 years old, vacationing in Hawaii during the presidential election in November. Anyone who knows me would tell you that I'm usually a pretty chill person. So if I freak out, something is going very, very wrong. When the fate of that election was decided, I freaked out. I'm sitting there on the floor with my iPad in my hands, telling me the winner was confirmed, and I didn't want to believe it. Until half a decade ago, the United States was the leader of the free world, a stronghold of democratic principles. But starting in 2016, the former president turned that on its head. After being elected by less than half of the American public, he broke down democratic norm after democratic norm. He rushed the appointment of Supreme Court nominees, blocked policies supported by more than 70% of Americans, and questioned election results twice. Even worse, he was impeached twice, once for election rigging and once for a literal conspiracy to overthrow the government. And to be honest, this scared me. Because beyond destroying the international reputation of the United States, it sparked a question in my mind. If this global stronghold of democracy could fall apart so quickly, what's stopping the same thing from happening to Canada? So we're going to look at this through the lens of Star Wars. You are Emperor Palpatine, trying to overthrow the Republic and turn the universe into your own domain. On the surface, it seems impossible. There's a complex system of checks and balances, a Supreme Court, a Senate, a House of Commons, a public with access to free information and the right to protest. It's a lot to overcome. But we're going to try anyways. First, you have to create and propose your law. Second, get it through the House of Commons. Third, get it through the Senate. Fourth, escape the clutches of the Supreme Court. And lastly, get the public on your side. So let's start with proposing. Those who propose and create laws, known as the cabinet, are like Darth Vader. They do a lot of the legwork, they put ideas to paper, and although it may seem like it, they don't have a lot of independence, despite all the power that they have. These are the people that draft the laws that keep us safe, fed, healthy, they control our economy, they control our military, and how our government acts. But just like how Palpatine controls Darth Vader, the Prime Minister controls the cabinet. Now you have to get through to Parliament. Think of this like the Galactic Senate. Representatives from all over come to speak about their issues, and they're grouped under different parties. And guess what? This structure is already rigged in your favor. Remember this?
The Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
It's kind of like that. See, Canada is a parliamentary democracy, meaning the Prime Minister has to have the support of the legislature. Usually this means your party controls a majority of the seats, and since you're the Prime Minister, you're the boss of the party, so you can just fire them whenever you want, just like how Palpatine can kill whoever he wants. Now it's time for the Senate. Think of them like Jar Jar Binks. They're supposed to be helpful, and you always have to consult them, but they're really easily manipulated and often just waste time. If a spot ever opens up in the Senate, you have the power to put in whoever you want, and nobody will question you. The Senate, really not a big obstacle. Now it's time for the hardest step of the process, the Supreme Court, or the Jedi Council. These guys are definitely going to stop you because they're all very smart and powerful and wise, and they definitely know what they're doing. Also, they're usually pretty old. The solution? Execute Order 66 and just fire them all. Then, with their replacements, you go through a super secretive process and nobody has to know why you hired them. So at this point, the public has probably noticed that some of the things you're doing aren't the best, but that's only if they know the whole truth. Luckily for you, CBC is Canada's biggest broadcaster, and you control its budget, you control its board of directors, you basically control it. Seem far-fetched? Canada's Prime Minister in 2010 cut CBC's budget by more than $100 million and appointed 7 board members that were in his pocket. If all else fails, you control the stormtroopers too. I considered myself to be pretty informed before doing all of this research, but I never realized just how much power our elected officials have. To be able to control every aspect of our society like this, with almost nothing stopping them, that's a huge responsibility, and one that not just anyone should have. So far, nobody has taken advantage of the system in the way the Emperor would, but that's not to say it wouldn't happen. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, you're stupid. I would never vote for someone like that. No country with a tenth of a brain would ever let such an evil person into power. Well, turns out they would. If you're a tyrant trying to get elected, here is your rule book. 1. Choose a scapegoat. If they're mad at someone else, they won't be mad at you, and they will love you for finding an answer to their problems. Before he became Darth Vader, Anakin went through some insane trauma, forced into slave labor at birth, and had the entire world expecting him to be the chosen one. That gets to a person. The Emperor offered him an outlet, a solution, and the Jedi Council to blame. Whether it be a recession, crime rates, the end of a golden age, crises are all around us in the real world. Manipulative leaders point to immigrants, liberals, conservatives, Russians, Americans, whoever they think is the problem with society. If you could convince everyone that something else is the cause of their problems, a lot of people are going to follow you. 2. Show the people you are just like them. The Emperor humanized himself by going to light shows and art displays and having normal conversations. You can talk about your roots, go play hockey or soccer in the streets, drive yourself around. Don't act like a politician, act like an everyday person. This can even manifest in what you wear. Contrary to popular belief, nobody likes a man in a suit, or a Sith robe for that matter. 3. Create a brand. You need a logo of some sort, a marketing campaign, a solid, extremely loyal team around you. So let's go back in time a little bit. You are Anakin before Palpatine comes to power, and he's come to you to try to gain your favor. How do you stop yourself from being manipulated? First, learn the tyrant's playbook. The 3 things I just told you about, look out for them. Chances are you'll be able to see all 3, if not at least the first 2, in someone who's attempting a power grab. 2. Question everything. Well, not everything, but anything that doesn't have a reliable source to back it up. Never take a statement at face value, even if it's from someone you have complete trust in. Use your reason. If there is anything that makes you doubt, a little voice screaming in your head something could be wrong, listen to it. Do your own research. Breathe deeply, close your eyes, shut off the world, let your anger chill out a bit. That time Anakin killed Mace Windu, or when he killed Count Dooku, or when he killed a bunch of little children, those were, at the risk of sounding like Obi-Wan, decisions driven by anger, and not by reason. 3. Listen. Even if someone is telling you something that is absolutely absurd, don't just shut them down. Instead, ask them to explain their point of view. Give them facts and sources. Treat them like an equal. That way, if someone is beginning to fall down a rabbit hole, you can help pull them out instead of pushing them deeper in. Imagine if the Jedi Council had listened to Anakin instead of just pushing him out and destroying his dignity. Those who feel isolated are much more likely to turn to tyrants, so respect is crucial. 4. Figure out who you are and what you want. I know it sounds like a daunting task, and that's because it is. Taking the time to do things like political compass tests, literal soul searching, reading multiple news sources, these things can seriously improve your self-knowledge. When you know the kind of person and policies you support, you're much less likely to get pulled in by the first person who promises to solve all the world's problems. It's a time-consuming process for sure, and doesn't always give you the answer you want, but it's a really important one if you want to be able to make your own informed decisions. So, before you vote, know the candidates, ask questions, listen to those who know and those who don't. figure out your goals, and figure out yourself. If we can all do that, Palpatine is never going to become the Emperor of Canada.